everyone was going nuts. Like the first fire happened over there. They burned our mattress and our for sale sign from our house. And then they were like, hey, let's burn more stuff apparently.
Most of us have probably been in crowds before and felt the dynamic that such an energy can bring. Often it is a very positive energy, like cutting the rug on a dance floor, a festival or concert. Steven even broke his nose once in a mosh pit, but an angry crowd is a different story. These crowds can be terrifying and dangerous. In fact, many people have died in such situations. So, what is a riot and how is it different from a mosh pit or a concert? A riot is a form of civil disorder, commonly characterized by a group lashing out in a violent public disturbance against authority, property, or people. The most deadly riot was in India in 1947, when somewhere between 500,000 and 2 million people were killed. But sometimes riots just happen when people want to party hard and don't deal with authority. This brings us to today's story. One of the craziest St. Patrick's events ever. The riots in London, Ontario in 2012. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know about when we upload a new video.
Oh shit, I'm unsubscribed.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Every March the 17th, party animals all over the world dress up in green, stick shamrocks to their faces and bodies, and go out to celebrate the most celebrated national day in the world, St. Patrick's Day. In 2012, the Canadian town of London, Ontario, experienced a night nothing short of a nightmare. The only thing that was missing was probably Freddy Krueger.
Oh, he was there too, actually.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh. The peaceful celebration of St. Patrick's Day went from a happy day of happy people in green drinking in the blazing sun into the worst riots the city has ever seen. But before I get into this insane story, let's go back a few years and talk about the history of St. Patrick's Day. Click on the timestamp if you want to go directly to the riot. St. Patrick's Day. What is it and why do we celebrate it? To answer this question, we can take our little time machine and go way, way back to 385 AD. St. Patrick was born a rich kid in Britain and had a pretty normal and decent life. Then, when he was 16, at a time where he should have been hanging out at the mall picking up girls, he got kidnapped from his home and taken into slavery in Ireland. He spent 6 years in absolute hell looking after animals until he managed to flee his master and went back to Britain. He then became a cleric and, besides his harrowing experience as a slave in Ireland, he actually decided to go back to Ireland and to work as a bishop. Thing is, he had a vision that he was meant to go back to Ireland to bring them Christianity. Until then, most, if not all, Irish people were polytheistic. So, what about the shamrock? Where the hell does that come from? Patrick taught the people about the Holy Trinity by showing them the shamrock. A three-leaf plant to illustrate the idea of three persons and one God. St. Patrick's Day was made a public holiday in the early 17th century. It celebrates the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. The most famous St. Patrick's tale is he drove all the snakes out of Ireland. The story was that he's been fasting for 40 days and nights on the top of a hill, when a bunch of snakes came and interrupted him.
What? That's so rude.
It is, isn't it? I hate to be interrupted. He chased them into the sea as one does. However, as there's never been snakes in Ireland, this is more than likely meant as a metaphor. The serpent is an old symbol of paganism. Snakes have been associated with some of the oldest rituals known to mankind and represent the dual expression of good and evil. And in some cultures, snakes were fertility symbols. I wonder why.
Maybe because snakes are hot.
Probably, there be it. And, of course, all of us know about the famous snake from the Garden of Eden tempting Eve to eat from the apple. Cham cham. St. Patrick's Day itself was actually invented in the United States and not in Ireland. In 1762, Irish soldiers marched through New York and started this tradition that is still growing to this day worldwide. The tradition began with the feast of the anniversary of the day he died. Historically, the restrictions on eating and drinking booze were lifted. Yay. Which explains why this tradition and celebration is so tightly tied to alcohol. Or to be blunt, why everybody is getting drunk as fuck that day. And if the Irish and British and all their descendants are good at one thing, it is getting drunk off their tits. And that happens very fast. Lightning speed. How's my hair? There's over 8,500 Irish pubs worldwide, so they say. There's over 70 million people in the world with Irish blood. Guinness actually ships pre-built bars all over the world for any publican who wants to open an Irish pub. Irish pubs are a great thing. Great interior, great booze, and even better, Irish folk music.
Beer bottle right in the head, so then me and a couple guys jumped on this other guy, and then one of these cruisers pulled around the corner and didn't like that we were beating this guy up, so one of them smacked right in one of the
Guess you better ride, it's unusual, you're so quiet. Gotta tie a better tie, just so good for court tonight. Burn another police car, time to run, let's run far. Cover cops, fellas, tar, a beautiful thing. Guess you better ride, it's unusual, you're so quiet. Gotta tie a better tie, dress up good for court tonight. Burn another police car, time to run, let's run far. Cover cops, feathers, tar, a beautiful thing. Guess you better ride, it's unusual, you're so quiet. Gotta tie a better tie, dress up good for court tonight. Burn another police car, time to run, let's run far. Cover cops, feathers, tar, a beautiful thing. Guess you better ride, I guess you better riot. Guess you better riot. I guess you better riot. It's a beautiful thing. Ow.
Maybe it's even the music why the Irish National Day is so big all over the world. It is also the day in which the old Irish saying rings particularly true. There's only two people in the world, the Irish and those who wish they were. What takes us to a hot, sweltering St. Patrick's Day in 2012. London, Ontario is a city of nearly 450,000 people located smack right in betwixt Toronto and Detroit.
I played a show there once.
Oh, yeah? Where?
Alex P. Keaton, yo.
Oh.
It was great.
Oh, nice.
Had a nice meal.
Oh, nice. What did you have?
I don't remember. It was delicious.
London features some of the smartest students in Canada due to Fanshawe College, one of the largest colleges in the region and the best in Ontario, and Western University, which is by far the best in Canada. London is known for its festivals: Ribfest, Sunfest, Walk Party, Rock the Park, the Wine Festival, Beer, Barbecue and Dance Festival, Londonlicious, Trackside Music Festival, Home Country Music and Art Festival, Forest City Beer Festival, Palooza, the Air Show and many, many more.
It's a little too much partying.
There's nothing like too much partying. London has a lot of parks, a huge market twice weekly. London is also the home of insulin. Sir Frederick discovered insulin at 2 a.m. on Halloween 1921. 450 million people worldwide are living with diabetes and should be thanking him on a daily basis for making their lives a lot easier. But that fateful night in London, people weren't thinking about insulin, Sir Frederick, or even St. Patrick for that matter. They were thinking of mindless destruction. The St. Patrick's Day celebrations were all going to plan when a number of parties spilled into the streets. On Fleming Drive, an area near Fanshawe College, where many students live and study, the crowd swelled to as many as 1,000 people. Seeing as there were so many people in the street, the police began to turn up. However, there were quite a few police officers in the street, and their presence began to anger the people. They felt that they should be allowed to party in peace without the boys in blue cock-blocking them.
Cops always cock-block everything.
The cops cock-block. They wanted to party hard, but the cops lined the streets in an act, and to them it felt like intimidation. London Police Inspector Chris Newton explained, "It started with several parties in the neighborhood. At one point, at about 10 p.m., we got calls about different fires in the neighborhood. At 11:30, the first fire crew arrived to put the fire out. They were pushed back by the crowd, who were pelting rocks and other objects. Angry with the police and firemen, the young drunk hooligans began pelting police cars with bottles. This led to shaking the cars and jumping on the roof with the stop sign, and they were trying to shove the stop sign through the roof of the car. This is how angry the police presence made these kids. And that wasn't all. People then flipped the car and set it on fire. It then blew up.
Kind of sounds like they all have superhuman strength.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though.
London police say the site of the St. Patrick's Day riot resembled a war zone.
The police were attacked with full bottles of beer and liquor, bricks, wood planks, 2x4s, debris, tires, rims, and other various items. Rebel rousers in the crowd also put lasers against the cops in an attempt to distract them. People walked around with glass in their legs, and someone had glass in his eye. The riot lasted 5 hours, caused over $100,000 damage, injured people and police officers. That photo was used by the police. Okay, out of my frame. A number of students who were ashamed by what their comrades were doing filmed them with their phones, and a lot of this footage was used later by the police to identify these miscreants. By the end of the day, 11 people were arrested and charged with unlawful behavior, assaulting police and resisting arrest. All of them were students at Fanshawe College. It makes you wonder how many courses they teach on civil disobedience. Sounds like a lot. Fuck the authorities. London Police Chief Brad Duncan said this was the worst riot he had seen in a 32-year career.
We are going to be knocking on your door, clearly. So turn yourself in.
The biggest thing right now is to severely punish those who are involved so that everybody sees that. Severely punish.
The riots in London came to an end without someone dying. But why did it happen in the first place? St. Patrick's Day is a peaceful celebration. Isn't Canada a peaceful country? I mean, they had Robert Picton, the pig farmer, who killed 49 prostitutes and buried them in his farm. And of course they had Stanley Cup riots and the riots when Guns N' Roses didn't show up to play, and that guy who cut off the other guy's head on the bus. London's Mayor Joe Fontana said about the riots, "All force of the law will be brought up in them. They will pay." Damn, this guy sounds like a gangster. Robert De Niro, step aside. What do you think why this night in London, Ontario in 2012 turned into such a mess with so many people injured? Do you think it was just the drinking and the mob mentality, or do you think that there might be a deeper reason behind this incident? Would you have participated or left? Do you think people have a right to riot, to make their frustration heard, or to protest against their government? Do you think violence is ever justified, and if, for what cause? Are there situations where violence is necessary? If I punch you in the face, will you retaliate or turn the other cheek? Comment your comment in the comments. And remember, stay safe out there.